every time we have this gun debate, when somebody who's disturbed, somebody who's angry, somebody who has evil in their heart, somebody who has a spirit of victimization rather than virtue enters a public square or a school and shoots someone, we start calling to get rid of guns. And I would argue, as I did to President Obama in my open letter back in the Roseburg shootings, that really the issue here isn't guns, it's ideas. And could it be that preaching victimization and fomenting class resentment is the problem? Could it be that race baiting and mocking our God and our guns is the problem? Could it be that belittling biblical morality and dumbing down the value of life and by creating a culture of death? Maybe that's the problem. Could it be that worshiping government rather than God is the problem? Could it be that these terrible ideas that we've inculcated in our culture by teaching them in our classrooms for the last several decades, could it be that that's the problem rather than law-abiding citizens exercising their constitutional right to protect themselves with a weapon?
Right.
You know, another thing I'd say, Dana, is take away the guns and they'll use a sword. Take away the sword and they'll use a club. Take away the club and they'll use a rock. And take away the culture's soul, and there's nothing left to stop the evil that lurks in every human heart. You can outlaw guns, swords, clubs, and rocks, but without the gospel, we are all still broken and angry people filled with hatred and rage, and that's what we see right now.
And that's the problem. I mean, this is a heart problem. This isn't a gun problem. And whenever I hear individuals really sort of in a disparaging way talk about gun safety courses and how I really believe education is the antidote to ignorance in this particular case, but some people seem to think that you are somehow encouraging gun violence by simply encouraging education. But what people are realizing is something that you hit the nail on the head here. There is no respect for life that's taught in society. In fact, life is it's viewed as being something that's throwaway when you consider euthanasia, when you consider abortion. And it's not surprising when you have been teaching this as a culturally accepted thing in society that you're going to have people who act out like this, particularly when the value of life it's not prioritized anymore.
Ideas matter. And ideas that are being taught in our school systems. I'm an educator. You're calling me because I'm a president of a university. I market ideas. I believe ideas make a difference. I believe good ideas lead to good culture, good behavior, good government, good church, good community. I think bad ideas lead to the opposite direction. And what we see right now is this inclination from the president on down to blame an instrument rather than blame the idea. To say that that tool that you're using to hurt someone is the cause of the problem rather than the bad ideas that you've been teaching. When you expunge culture of any virtue and you start teaching victimization instead, you're going to have a negative result. And this is what we see once again. It isn't the gun. It isn't the instrument. It isn't the tool. Like I said, you can take away the gun and they'll use a club, a knife, they'll use a rock. That is not the problem. The problem is what lurks in every human heart. The problem is the lack of what I would claim as a Christian, the lack of emphasis on the gospel. When you worship government rather than God, you're going to have a negative consequence.